Hello. If you are watching this, then it means that I did something very brave and that I'm proud of myself. So hopefully that will in fact be the case. I am going to try to make some short videos about some of the stories that I also want to eventually write about, just to kind of get the story going, and kind of piece it together in my head. So that's what this will be about. Some of the stories from my life, I guess. And it's to challenge myself as well because I do not speak very well. I am far from eloquent. I stumble and stutter and I forget words. So this is also kind of a personal challenge to see if I can do it and speak like a normal human being. I will try. I was going to tell a story today about Oreo cookies. Way back when I first went into the hospital, I remember being in the emergency room, and through tears I heard a doctor say, just go, let them talk to you for a few days, let them have a look, see what they think, and maybe after 2 or 3 days they'll send you home when you're recovered and back on your feet. And it was 2 years. I've harbored somewhat of a mistrust of doctors since then. But yeah, so I was not in there for the solid 2 years. I was in and out and in, back and forth, and at a total of 5 different hospitals. This particular story is probably about 1.5 years in. I was pretty beaten down by then. It's a hard place to be in for any length of time, much less the amount of time I was there. I was actually in an acute ward the entire time, which typically has a stay of 5 to 10 days. I just never progressed. I was a bit of an anomaly. They didn't quite know what to do with me. I was not your typical depressed, angry, whatever sort of issues that normal teens were having. I was something altogether different. They really didn't know what to do with me. So I just sort of floated around there for months and months and eventually years. This was, probably about 1.5 years in, and my fight had gone almost entirely. I had fully accepted that that's just where I was going to be. That was my life. Any other plans that I had before that were null and void and just weren't going to happen. It is very easy to believe things like that when you're 15 and all of the adults around you are telling you that your life is done. They told me and my parents that I would never be able to hold a job. I would never be able to live independently. I would always need some sort of care, some sort of psychiatric oversight, that I wouldn't be able to function in the real world. So I believe that wholeheartedly. When you're young, that's devastating. And eventually I just came to accept it. And that's what it was. But that changed. And it was Oreo cookies that changed that. They're not just cookies. Halloween Oreos in particular, the ones with the orange cream, are the best Oreos. Every year I buy about 10 packs of them and I eat them all. I have no regrets and no shame. But this story, it was getting close to Halloween, so they were obviously out in the stores, out in the world where I was not. And my parents brought a box in for me. We weren't allowed to do that, to have things like that from the outside. And I didn't really know that at the time. I just got my Oreos and put them in my room, put them in my little drawer that I had. I had a bed and a nightstand and a sort of wardrobe thing. So I put them in my drawer and didn't really think about it. But it turns out they were contraband Oreos. So I ate them, and they were such a wonderful thing from the outside world. I cannot tell you how much joy I got from Oreo cookies. That was wonderful. It was like the first bit of happiness, as weird as it sounds, that I've had in a long time. And it almost kindled something in me. Like, I want to get out there. I want to experience these things again. Wow, something as simple as cookies was really cool. So I ate them. I rationed them out very carefully. I had like one maybe every other day or something, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. But eventually, one of the nurses saw me with an Oreo cookie and confiscated the box. There was maybe like a third of the box left at that point. And I thought that was just the worst thing. That finally there was one spark of hope in this place that was otherwise utterly bleak. And then one bit of color on my canvas, and they took it. And I thought, that's not right. Those cookies were good for me. Imagine, or your cookies were good for me, but really they were, mentally perhaps. I thought, that's wrong. There's nothing wrong with me having Oreo cookies. They're helping me. They're making me feel happy. And I thought that they're wrong about this. And if they're wrong about this, what else are they wrong about? And that ignited something in my brain that jarred me out of the rut in which I've been stuck for a long time. And really almost for the first time ever, I challenged what everyone around me was saying. If they took my cookies, they were wrong. I threw a fit, an absolute fit. I was screaming and kicking, and I punched some nurses, and it wasn't pretty. I was not in the best place mentally. So I was restrained, and I was put in the quiet room, which is the term every institution I have been in has used for solitary confinement. I was in there for maybe 2 days, and I was just thinking the whole time, I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna have my Oreo cookies when I want my Oreo cookies. They might be wrong about me. I'm gonna try this one more time, really see what I can do. And that was the turning point in the whole thing, in the 2 years I was in there, the probably 2 years before that leading up to it, and the three or so years after, when I was still a mess and trying to pull myself together bit by bit. I had spark again. I had something to try for. So, yeah, Oreo cookies are special to me. I adore it's only the Halloween ones. Those are the ones that I had that were taken from me. And those are the ones that, as weird as it sounds, made me challenge what I had been taught to believe over the course of a few years. And I held on to that light. I held on to it so hard. And it grew. I got to a point where I did come out of the hospital. That's another story in itself. It was with my parents in a fit of rage and very firmly against medical advice, but they pulled me out of there very suddenly one night. Story for another time. And yeah, it took a long time to get myself sorted, but here I am today. Thank you, Oreo cookies. That's it for now.